Stream Kings, Steam Kings, and the brand new Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I couldn't think of a third S thing. Hello everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Scream. In the current digital age, streaming is king. And at the beginning of this era, Netflix was undefeated. They had all the movies and shows you could ever want, and unlike in 2025, they actually had shows you wanted to watch. Of course, now in the present, every media company basically has their own streaming service, and it's up to the consumer to pick which one they need the most. But in the age of streaming, who is currently the dominant competitor in the market? Well, the numbers are in from October, and Netflix didn't even break top 5. These numbers come from the data and analytics company Nielsen, which tracked TV usage across all of these media companies for the month of October. And the graph that they made reflects their watch time in terms of percentages. So let's take a look at that quick, shall we? Starting with AMC at 0.7%, then A&E at 0.9%, Hallmark at 1% of the market. My mother will be very happy about that. And then Weagle at 1.4%, Scripps at 1.9%. Who named these? What monster named these? The Roku channel at 2.8%, Amazon at 3.8%, Warner Bros. Discovery at 5.6%, Netflix at 8%, and now going into the top 5. At number 5 is Paramount with 8.2%. Then at number 4, Fox with 8.4%. At number 3, NBC Universal at 8.6%. Then in second place, Disney at 11.4%. And then finally, in the number 1 spot of TV usage in the month of October, we have YouTube at 12.9%. Give yourselves a round of applause, we made it. At least for the month of October, this very platform, YouTube, was the number 1 streaming service used in the month of October. And other than this report, the majority of the news coming out of the film industry is about the Wicked sequel, Wicked for Good. It's not really a sequel, it's technically part 2 to the first movie, Wicked. I haven't seen either one, so I only tangentially know this. This sequel has been dominating the box office since opening day, and it blew the previous movie out of the water in terms of box office revenue. And I haven't done the research, but I think I can confidently say that this makes Wicked as a franchise the most successful adaptation of a Broadway musical that was an adaptation of a book that was a prequel to a movie that was an adaptation of a book. We are so many layers removed from the actual Wizard of Oz at this point. And of course, this adaptation has had its fair share of criticisms, but since I haven't seen the movie myself, I'm not gonna platform any of those here. Except for the big one, and that is the people who made this film know that color grading exists, right? Like, they know that their movie is allowed to not look horrible, right? The visuals are great, like they clearly had the CGI budget, but man, the colors are just ugh. And don't even get me started on the press tour. They must have gone through hell making this movie. And in the realm of video games, the company Valve may have just won the console wars. Over the last year, Valve has been making moves in the industry, getting PlayStation exclusives, Xbox exclusives to release on their Steam library. Properties like God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, The Last of Us, and I'm sure Xbox has games too. And now, Valve has launched the nuke. They announced the Steam Machine, the power of a PC in a console capable of playing your entire Steam library. With specs as powerful as a PC, able to play AAA titles in 4K at 60 FPS, and with SD slot storage for expandable storage options. It will also come with its own controller, but enables support for PlayStation and Xbox controllers, which is great because I don't really know how to feel about their controller design. Now, this move has the potential to blow both of the two major competitors out of the water, but there is one thing that is making consumers nervous. A major element that will make or break this outcome in the console wars, and that is, of course, the price. There is no price estimate currently available as of recording this video, but there have been quotes from people in the company saying that it will be priced, quote, like a PC. And I definitely get that good specs in electronics cost money, but the whole reason that console gaming is popular as a aspect of gaming is that consoles are cheaper than PCs. Even with how ridiculously priced the next-gen consoles have been, they are still at least half as expensive as your standard gaming PC. And so the price point of the Steam machine will definitely make or break this console on release. I'm choosing to be optimistic, but also, I don't know. This will definitely be a make or break moment for Valve's new endeavor into the console space. And now for the weekly GTA 6 update. Yeah, Yeah, still not done. And now for a closing segment talking about some of the releases coming this December in theaters. First up, on December 5th, we are getting the second Five Nights at Freddy's movie, the sequel to the 2023 film. FNAF 2 marks a return to the franchise with our original cast, but with all new locations and of course, all new animatronics. And as the first movie adapted the animatronics and much of the location from the first FNAF game, this sequel will be adapting the animatronics and the location of the second game. This includes the decrepit, withered animatronics, which are older and largely kept just for spare parts, as well as the sleek and modern toy animatronics. The trailers have also given us fleeting glimpses at the amalgamation of parts known as Mangle, as well as the mysterious and very unique Puppet and the incredibly annoying Balloon Boy. And in the trailers, we have also seen a very faithful recreation of the office from FNAF 2, complete with the ventilation shafts, as well as the empty Freddy mask. And we have also seen in the trailers the return of William Afton, but it is unclear whether he will play a role in the events of the film or whether it will be primarily through flashbacks. If I had to guess personally, I'm gonna say most of his appearances in this film will be flashbacks, and then they will fully bring back his character in the third movie. Because as everyone knows, the antagonist in FNAF 3 is Springtrap, and so, you know, it kind of makes sense. And I'm pretty sure Matthew Lillard actually hinted at that at some kind of convention as well. And notably, when the cast of the film was being announced, there were a couple standouts, at least to me. The first one I saw was the casting of Mr. FNAF himself, Matthew Patrick of Game Theory fame, as Toy Bonnie. And to me, this makes perfect sense. I always thought he had the voice to play either whimsical or just downright insane characters, and I feel like Toy Bonnie could be a little bit of both. And Toy Chica is going to be voiced by Megan Fox, which Reddit is probably foaming at the mouth with that announcement. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, do not Google it. In fact, just burn whatever you're watching this on, please. And this movie will mark the first appearance of Henry in this FNAF franchise, played by Skeet Ulrich. I just love that the two killers from the original Scream movie are reuniting as the two faces of the Fazbear Company. Absolutely mythical casting, and I really hope this movie's good, please. And for those of you who wished that Markiplier had been in the first FNAF movie, don't worry, because he's definitely gonna be in this one, right? Totally. He's gonna be in this one. I honestly wouldn't hold my breath on that. He's totally gonna be in the third one. Now, when the first FNAF movie came out in 2023, it released two mixed reviews, and I kind of wanted to talk about that for at least a second. I went to see the original movie in theaters with my brother. At some point or another throughout the years, we had both gone through a FNAF lore hyperfixation, and my brother was incredibly excited to see this movie. To my knowledge, this is one of the few movies in the past like 5 years that he has actually bothered to go and see in theaters. And firstly, I absolutely loved the designs of the animatronics created by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. They were both faithful to the game and the source material, and they functioned as proper animatronics. They just looked insanely good. And the cast was really fun. A charming cast of lead actors and the absolutely inspired casting of Matthew Lillard as William Afton. And in terms of the movie itself, my thoughts were pretty simple. I don't think it was an effective horror film, but I had a really fun time watching it. It was a fantastic love letter to lifelong fans of the franchise, in my opinion. From the lore references, to the cameos, even to some of the dialogue, which contained hidden references to the FNAF community over the years. Like, there's one passing reference where some side character is like, what if it was all a dream? And Josh Hutcherson's character is like, man, that'd be stupid. And that was a reference to a fan theory about the games and that it had all been a dream. Little things like that, little blink and you miss 'em details. It was faithful to the concepts of the games while also being bold enough to tell its own story. Even if the story was fine. It wasn't groundbreaking, but it wasn't bad. If anyone asked me coming out of that movie if it was scary, I would have told you no, but I would still tell them that they're gonna have a fun time watching it. But from the sounds of it, it looks like the studio took all the criticisms that came from the first movie and applied that knowledge going into the second. And based on the trailers, as well as the designs of the animatronics, it does look like they are going to be leaning more into the horror aspects of the franchise, which I think is a smart move. If they actually do it. That all hinges on if they actually do it. I do especially love the creeping presence of the puppet in many of the trailers. Never the center of attention, but always the most fleeting glimpse of like a hand or the side of her head. And the design of the withered animatronics are absolutely incredible. They are just the right combination of faithful to the source material, as well as just being absolutely terrifying when translated into live action. Only time will tell if this movie is actually scarier than the original, but I think it has a shot.
There's no way that'll work.
And of course, on December 19th, we are going to be getting the third installment in the Avatar franchise by James Cameron, Avatar: Fire and Ash, which is basically the Avatar franchise, except instead of the Water Nation, it's the Fire Nation. Ooh. And I mainly wanted to use this spot just to talk about the Avatar phenomena. See, this franchise from the very inception has been a foundational franchise in the realm of revolutionizing visual effects. The first film was at the forefront of the 3D movie phenomena, which didn't age well, but it could have, as well as revolutionizing the idea of motion capture performance in a motion picture. A technique that was originally conceptualized by films like The Lord of the Rings when they were capturing Andy Serkis's performance as Gollum, but Avatar was the film that really brought full body performance capture into a spot where it could be used on a mass scale. And now basically everyone in a Marvel movie is just wearing pajamas. And Avatar 2 had breakthroughs in the realm of water physics generation and light simulation. And of course, I'm sure that Avatar 3 will follow in this tradition and revolutionize some aspect of visual effects in Hollywood. And yet despite this, I cannot think of a film franchise that has been so foundational in an aspect of cinema like visual effects that just means so little to most people. I cannot think of a single person in my life who would voluntarily put on any of the Avatar movies, or even be able to name a single character from any of the films. And expanding just out of my own social circle, I haven't seen a single person on social media, out in public, or anyone be like, yeah, Avatar, best franchise in Hollywood. I sure hope James Cameron makes like 5 more of these. And yet somehow they have still been some of the highest grossing films ever made. But yeah, there's another one coming out this December. Yeah, I'm so glad this is what legendary director James Cameron has dedicated the entire rest of his life to making. And I know that I spent like twice as much screen time talking about the FNAF sequel as I have talking about Avatar, and in my defense, this has been episode 3 of Screen Factor. It's been a long time coming. I started this series at the beginning of the year and only made 2 episodes, and then I just had the most insane year I think, of my life. So I'm back now. I'm a little worse for wear, but I'm back. And I hope that I can continue making episodes of this show fairly regularly. This is just a taste of what I want Screen Factor to be, talking about news coming out of mostly the film industry, but also the realm of video games, maybe even music if I feel so inclined. And of course talking about upcoming releases that you can look forward to. Not all releases coming in December. If you look at the actual list of movies coming out this December, there is like 20 some odd movies. Lots of movies get made every year. So I'm mainly just gonna focus on the ones that I think are standouts, at least to me, and I hope that you stick around for this new addition to the channel. And for anyone who may find me just through this video, hello, I normally make extremely long videos talking about pieces of media that I like, movies, music, sometimes internet horror series. And I've got a lot of big projects in the works. These are just videos that, while I enjoy them, are shorter videos that are quicker to edit so that I can supplement the channel between these huge uploads. And I've got some very exciting projects in the works. I hope you will stick around to see what I have in store for this channel in the upcoming year. And of course, a huge thank you goes out to the patrons, Sean, Happy the Knife, and the top tier patrons, RD, Snowy, and Bottomless Potamus. Thank you so much for sticking around and supporting me through all of my breaks and inconsistency this year, and I promise I'm gonna stop apologizing for it. But I do feel like I need to apologize for my inconsistency because I love this channel, I love making videos for you all, and I haven't been able to do that this year as much as I wanted to. But going into next year, I will be back with a vengeance, and I will continue to be through the rest of this year. Except maybe around Christmas time. I might take a break for Christmas because come on, it's Christmas. But thank you all so much for supporting me, and if you want early ad-free access to these videos, as well as exclusive behind-the-scenes content whenever I do something crazy, then consider joining the Patreon. It's linked in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this third episode of Screen Factor, and I will see you next time for whatever I've got cooking next. I hope that you're excited for that because I know that I am. And cut.